On behalf of Fed Insider and CARAHCAST, we would like to welcome you to our mini-series, Headlines in Cybersecurity, which aims to translate the year's hot-button cybersecurity news stories into actionable steps state and local governments can take to protect themselves from attacks and recover when disaster strikes. Today's podcast, brought to you by Chainalysis, is focused around blockchain security. Journalist John Breeden will moderate as Mark Cantor, Assistant Director at the U.S. Government Accountability Office, and Amanda Wick, Chief of Legal Affairs at Chainalysis, discuss what blockchain is, how it works, its benefits and drawbacks, and how state and local governments can use it in their operations.
And hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Day 4 of the Headlines in Cybersecurity event. I'm John Breeden, and I will be moderating what I know will be an interesting and lively discussion about blockchain security. It's a relatively new technology which came to the stage around 2008. In general, blockchain is a growing list of records, which are called blocks, that are linked together using cryptography. It's also sometimes described as trustless and fully decentralized peer-to-peer immutable data storage. Today, we will talk about how it works, why it is so powerful, and what plans government has for deploying blockchain in their operations. Thankfully, we have two very leading experts in this field to help break everything down for us. So let's meet them, and then we can get started. I first wanted to extend a warm welcome to Mark Cantor, the Assistant Director for the Government Accountability Office. Mark, it's an honor to have you with us today to talk about the interesting and sometimes misunderstood world of blockchain.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. And we are also fortunate to have Amanda Wick, the Chief Legal Affairs with Chainalysis. Amanda, we really appreciate having an expert of your caliber with us to talk today about this critical topic.
I'm super excited to be invited and very excited to talk with state and locals about a topic near and dear to my heart.
Excellent. Well, thank you again both for being here. I do want to dive into this topic. I know you're both really excited to, but you both have such impressive backgrounds. I thought we should maybe take a quick moment to learn about each of you and what you do. So, Mark, can you tell us a little bit about your background and your current responsibilities as the Assistant Director with the Government Accountability Office?
Yes, so I lead financial audits related to financial information systems, cybersecurity, and certainly emerging technologies, what we're here to talk about today. With regard to the financial audits that I do conduct, a lot of the work that I focus on is how data moves inter-application or inter-system, and the protection, the controls associated around those financial processes related to financial reporting, as well as for the cybersecurity audits. Our main focus that I work on is really protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of that data.
Excellent. Well, that's great, and it's good that you work on the financial side of things, because we have a whole section later talking about how blockchain works with financials. So, Mark, one of the things today is that a lot of our guests are tuning in from state and local governments, where they can really get a lot of great advantage from blockchain. But it occurs to me that not everyone may be completely familiar with the role of the GAO within the federal government. Could you maybe briefly tell us about your agency and the missions that you perform?
Yeah, absolutely. GAO is a congressional watchdog. We are an independent, nonpartisan agency that works for Congress and directly with Congress. This year marks actually our 100-year of anniversary of us being in existence. Basically, what we do is examine how taxpayer dollars are spent with facts-based information to help government save money and work more efficiently. Our work is done at the request of congressional committees or those subcommittees, or statutorily required by public laws or committee reports. Just kind of give you a general nature of the topics. Certainly, we've already spoke about financial auditing, but there are certainly other areas that focus on defense, healthcare, energy, homeland security, and of course, information technology as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Mark. We really appreciate that. So moving over to you, Amanda, we really appreciate you being with us here today. Could you tell us a little bit about your background? I know you get to speak at a lot of different conventions and events and things like that. Tell us a little bit about what you do also as the Chief of Legal Affairs with Chainalysis.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question, and I will say, like, Mark is clearly the data person. I am on the other end of the spectrum in that I am a lawyer who spent about a decade as a federal prosecutor for the Department of Justice. I worked in 3 U.S. attorneys' offices prior to coming to what we call Main Justice in D.C., where I worked in the money laundering and asset recovery section in the criminal division. And then I did a detail at FinCEN because of some of my work in crypto money laundering. I went to FinCEN to work in their policy division, where I got to work on strategic policy initiatives involving cryptocurrency and human trafficking. And while I was there, the person who held my position previously, Mike Mosier, he had left to become Ken Blanco's number 2 at FinCEN. And some folks sent me this job and said, hey, you should really consider this because it kind of sounds right up your alley. And I hadn't been thinking about leaving the government, but when I saw the job description, I was like, well, if I was ever going to leave, it would be for this amazing role. I went from being a crypto money laundering prosecutor to somebody who helps agents and prosecutors and regulators deal with crypto all around the world. And it's an amazing opportunity.
And quite an amazing background you have. So your company, Chainalysis, as part of what you guys do, you work directly with blockchain technology. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about Chainalysis and what you do and how that works?
Sure. So our company has a saying that we build trust in blockchains. And one of the ways in which we do that is frankly by de-anonymizing them. When I started prosecuting crypto cases back in 2012, one of the difficulties back then was there wasn't a lot of visibility into the blockchains. It was a lot of transactional data with a very, we'll say, like not easy way of kind of identifying the who's who of who was doing what on the blockchain. And my company, Chainalysis, very early on became kind of the experts in data analysis. And by building kind of best-in-class data, they've been able to analyze that and distill it into something that allows investigators and regulators to have enough visibility into the blockchain to be able to do investigations and do compliance to basically make blockchains and especially cryptocurrencies a viable alternative and new asset class.